Hey guys, it's Minime27 and today I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to do part 2 of my story of when my dad had cancer. And so the next major point is, if you've seen the last video, then you know that during that video I talked about the beginning of when my dad had cancer, when he was diagnosed, those first 3 weeks or so. 3 or 4 weeks until we knew the extent of where everything was and how much cancer he had and what the next steps were. So this is going to be the next major part in the story and what happened. And this is basically the weeks leading up to, including whenever he finally had surgery to remove it. And so basically what happened during those weeks, there was a period of about a month or so when they were still trying to decide what all needed to be done. They decided on to finally do chemo, and they decided on the type and whatnot. And so he went up and he had chemo, and that first chemo treatment that he had nearly killed him. It wasn't any fault of the doctors or anything, it's just it was such an aggressive type of chemo. His body just didn't react to it well. His body didn't react to it well at all. They couldn't have had any idea that's how his body would have reacted to it. But basically he lost 20 pounds in about a week or so. He could barely move, he was sick to his stomach during that whole time. It was absolutely awful, and the next time he went in, they said, okay, we can't do that again. We cannot give you that kind of chemo again. Or it'll kill you. And I said, okay, so now the next step, we're just going to go straight to surgery, remove the tumor, and get it all out. And so during that time, during that waiting time between the chemo and surgery, I think that was almost a month or something like that, I was just ready for it to be over with. I was ready for them to take the cancer out and for him to be fine again. I knew that it would be quite a bit of a recovery period because they said it would be like a 6-hour surgery or something like that. And that's a long surgery. I wasn't too worried about it. I would wake up some mornings and I was almost in tears because I was just ready for it to be over. I was ready for him to not be in pain and not suffer anymore, and for him to be able to be back to normal, and for us to have this cancer thing rid from our lives forever. Luckily the community was very good in this time. They were always there to help us if we needed anything. My friends were always there to talk if I needed anything. Several good friends that I'm one or two that I'm still really great friends with today. They were there for me in that time, and I'll forever be grateful for that. But then it came time for surgery, and I stayed the night at one of those friends' houses for the week while he had surgery and was recovering. And it was a 6-hour surgery, and every 2 hours the doctors would tell my mom how it was going. And she would call the middle school, and they would call me to the office, and they would tell me how it's going. They kept me updated throughout the day. And by the end of the day, when it was about time for the surgery to be over, I was outside on our 15-minute break or something when we got to walk around a track outside and talk to each other. And someone came out and found me from the office, and they said, your dad's out of surgery. They got all the cancer, very little blood loss. And that was one of the happiest moments of my life up to that point, to know that he finally didn't have cancer anymore. And it was great because I was like, it's over. Now comes the recovery time, but after that, he's back to normal, and it's good. So I got to talk to him a little bit on the phone that day. It was a good day. He was still pretty out of it at the time. He probably didn't remember the conversation afterwards at all. He had to stay in the hospital for about a week afterwards for recovery. He had a huge incision from about his sternum down to about his belt, from where they had to go in and take it all out, but they said they got it all, and it was good. And that afterwards he would have to do some radiation and some light chemo just to make sure stuff didn't come back. And he came home. It was the week of Thanksgiving when he finally got to come home. And the community was so good. They brought stuff like food to us every night. They cooked dinner for us every night that week. And it was just such a great time, because my dad no longer had cancer. Yeah, he was still recovering and in a bit of pain, but he was getting better. It was a very happy time after a darker time, after a time of confusion and not knowing what was going to happen next, and always scared that they'd find something else or that something else would come up, or just seeing him suffer, laying on the couch, laying in bed, just in so much pain from the chemo or whatever it was. It was good to finally have him be somewhat normal again, and over the next month or so he recovered very well. He had an ileostomy bag. I won't go into the details of what that is because it's kind of gross, but so everything was healing up very well. His wound was healing up very well. They started radiation. He eventually got his ileostomy bag taken out, and they started radiation. just to make sure, and some chemo in some spots, some light chemo, and it was good. It was a good time. And so that's where I'm going to leave this episode of my story, and so I'll have another one out soon. So if y'all liked it, please leave a like, and I'll see you all in the next one.